Hey, welcome to another week of the AMLoB Podcast. We have almost a full cast today. We have Vicious for a record third straight week.
Yeah, what is going on?
We have Emmons and we have Corey. Of course,
Corey
you know we don't.
copying my podcast command in the chat. SMH.
So yeah, we're gonna get into it. Of course, power rankings. That's always top of the list. Um, and I don't know. We'll probably talk about how the Bucks look at the end.
Yeah.
Not the end of this. So
Fitzpatrick's about to come out. He's about to get his Conor McGregor ego going again.
okay. If you say
He just wanted to play from a deficit. That's all it was.
Yeah, like he just wanted. He already conquered like so many challenges. Like he just wanted to be like, yo, I'm down 23-7. I just threw like 80,000 interceptions. It looked absolutely atrocious. I may look defeated, but I'm gonna win this thing.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think so too. It's
the only logical explanation.
He just threw a duck and Mike Evans on a curl, and oh god, he almost threw an interception. Oh, he got hit. Oh god, is there nothing roughing the passer? Yep. What was that 3 now in this game?
I hate that rule so much.
It hasn't happened in a Lions game yet. That's such a clean hit.
I wonder if they do away with that rule after this season.
It's not going to protect the hits are still going to happen. Clearly. Oh my god. Oh well, it's good for the Bucks. So.
Well, they need something good right now because it is not looking okay.
Oh, he's going deep. Fucking go deep. Oh!
Wow.
Anyway, let's look at this.
Mike Evans is simming at AMLoB. It's not fake.
Bruh, I hate playing damn Connor so fucking much.
That was such a Connor play too. Fucking go deep.
Exactly. He'll just send him on a streak and just throw it up. I don't even think he looks at anyone else. He'll just put it in the air.
That was such a I love it. Yeah, I picked Tampa Bay and pick him on the other side, so I need them to come through. I picked the Patriots to beat the Lions, so
I haven't even looked at my my picks. So far this week, I'm 18-12-2 on the season though.
Nice. Did you pick the Lions to beat the Patriots?
I did. No, I didn't.
Josh did. Fucking.
I'm gonna be honest. I thought y'all were about to get thumped yesterday.
So did I. You're not alone.
Are we still live?
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah, we're live.
I'm off track a little bit. Sorry.
Okay. Anyways, yes, let's get into these power rankings. Now this is a little bit different than most times we do power rankings because we're literally at the Super Bowl. So these are in the season power rankings. Let's get it started. We have, of course, our number one from the entire season, the Jags, a.k.a. Murder 904, a.k.a. Josh Powers. So, at this point, it's expected. With such a dominant defense, the run game being, as elite as it is, and basically Blake Bortles just being asked not to mess it up. It's been a special season. Even though this is the end of the regular season, even though this is in the season rankings, he's on the verge of something that's never been done before in AMLoB history. So shout out to him for that. But yeah, he's definitely proven that he can that he is an elite level guy in the league. So
For sure.
Yeah, that's all I really got. Anybody else?
I mean, you're 16-0, like at the end of the year, and you're in the Super Bowl, so I don't think there's really anything to like attempt to knock him from being number one. But since the next closest user has like 2 losses.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't care what team you have. Anytime you go 16-0, it's impressive. Especially, I mean, I think he had like 1 or 2 close games throughout the season.
Yeah.
I'm unfortunately, no offense, Bitches, he thumped guys like Bitches who won his division, made the playoffs.
I had him until kickoff.
The guy he's playing in the Super Bowl, I think he beat 34 or 35 to nothing.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, Corey kept him close. It was a hell of a game. I don't know who else, like if anybody else did, but I mean, like I think Lights did in the playoffs. But
like I said, if we didn't kick off, shit, I had a chance.
Yeah. Well, and just kind of like in the playoff side of it, Lights, that game, the final score was not nearly indicative of how good that game was.
Right.
I think it was 3-3 into the third quarter, and they both had combined for like less than 120 yards of total offense.
Yeah, it got away late. Yeah, it got away late. I mean, that was because he kept turning it over like inside of his like 30. So
I hope me and Austin provided you guys with a fun game. I had 15 viewers at one point.
Yeah, I mean, but you and Austin, y'all have had really good games the whole season. I think.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun franchise with him in my division.
Yeah,
I'm excited for.
We play pretty similar, so it's like it's a pretty like tough to read.
I was gonna say I'm pretty excited for what D brings to the table in your all's division as well. I think he played Austin tight, like 7-3, his first game in the league.
He did.
Tight.
Oh, Emmons with the savagery though.
No, D's good. I like playing D. D. He had a lot of bad breaks in our game. To be honest with you, I just wanted to throw out a little couple.
Welcome to the league shade.
Yeah, couple weird interceptions for him. He's a really good sim user, and he's fun to. It's good to have another guy like that in the league.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
you said, he kept Austin close. I played him in a different league before too, and he's beaten me. So he's definitely adding to another channel. Like it's no offense, I love Spencer, but it's definitely a little upgrade on the Vikings team. So I mean, it's going to be another guy to add to the contention for the NFC North.
Very true. Very true. On to number 2. We have Emmons Lions. So perfect segue. Look at you, sir.
Doing what I do best and losing in the playoffs.
Well, Emmons, your season was pretty special, especially considering the pieces that you had to work with. The Lions are an older team in most positions. They're an older team in most positions, and the youth they do have, a lot of those guys aren't year one competing ready.
Right.
And you ended up 14-2, won the NFC. So I mean, I think your season was pretty special.
Not what I expected, to say the least. I was expecting like 7-9, like when Dicey was in the division, so like 7-9, 6-10. Just play for like kind of like a good pick, and then we started off 6-0, and I was like, what do we do now?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like I said, your team isn't quite like year one special compete ready, and you made it happen. But
it's got some good my pieces where they are good though. Like Slay is huge. Like even though he's older right now, like he's 27, 28, like he's huge. He had 10 interceptions. Like people stopped trying to throw at Ramsey. People didn't stop trying to throw at Slay, and I don't know why, but I mean I'm not going to complain. Tracy Walker was a surprising piece. I just was like, 69 overall rookie safety. He's got like mid-70 zone, mid-70 man coverage. He's my starting strong safety, and he made the Pro Bowl. So I'll take it.
Yeah. So I mean,
he was actually my only player with upgrades after the season. I was pretty sad. Everyone's like talking about like, oh, I got like this and I got that. And then here I go to spend it. There's 2 full upgrades for Tracy Walker. And so I put both of it in zone coverage, and he only gets only one like +1 toward the zone. That's it. I was like, oh, it was worth it.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's my whole thing. You made it happen. So, And I mean, and it didn't matter. Big games, you won like close ones. Because I think your only two losses, you were combined like what, 6 points
or something? Yeah, I lost to you by 3, I believe, and Shank by 3 or 4 or 2 or something like that.
Yeah, so I mean, that in itself is a big thing. So yeah, anybody else got anything with that one?
No, I think it's just kind of a testament to similar what we talked about with Emmons in 18 is a really solid play caller, just knows when to take his shots, play solid defense, and he elevates that roster.
Oh, maybe that's why Matthew hired me as his OC.
There we go.
Although I'm not really that good of an offensive user, so I don't know why. I try with him on defense, but hey, I'll take the paycheck. I'll just sit
there
here.
You go. Well, he can't get any worse than Steve Sarkisian, so.
True. This is true. This is also true.
But yeah, so that's Emmons at 2. At 3, we have Lights.
Another
who
always so quiet of a seasons, and he just continues to finish out in the top 5 every single season. Yeah,
Lights at this point is a perennial like top 10er. Like seriously.
Yeah. Once I mean, because Corey's in the division, so obviously that's already adding to like the toughness of that division. Then whenever Snippy figures it out with Oakland, that's another very tough division to throw in there, and as many as we have.
Yeah, I think next season will be really interesting when Snippy is out of his tank mode, and Crown has kind of proven that he's a wild card. Like he's
he had that big win versus Roger this year, so he can beat a good user when he plays this game. You know what I mean? So like it's not somebody that you can just like look at your schedule and be like, all right, you're gonna chalk this up as a win. Honestly, there's really not.
Yeah, he's a definite trap game if you overlook him.
For sure.
But yeah,
Lights
is solid.
User.
Oh, go ahead, LJ.
No, my bad. You can go ahead.
I was just gonna say, Lights. He really figured out the running game. I think he was the league leading rusher with Melvin, and he's always been a solid defensive user. So once he gets his quarterback situation figured out, he's going to be even more lethal.
I think we've talked about this before. Is injury like if you get injured like early on in the CFM, do they just automatically become injury prone?
I don't know. I know there was something.
Been hurt 4 times this year, and his injury rating's not that low. If I remember correctly.
So kind of 2 thoughts that I have is one is in 18. I remember if you played with you come back from an injury early and you play and you get hurt in that game, that can permanently reduce your stats.
That's why I never do that.
Oh yeah, I don't either. And then my second thought is I've always just kind of had a theory that some players are coded to be injury prone, because I know
that's not the case.
I've had like Le'Veon before, and he's been in that other league that I've played in where they have crazy XP sliders. The guy, whenever I came in and inherited the Steelers, Le'Veon had 95 toughness and 99 injury, and he would get hurt on the first touch of the game sometimes. Yeah. And it's like, are you serious? This was just a simple one-on-one open field tackle with a 72 hit power safety.
With carry on, like I just like ran it like inside the 5, and he just kind of got wrapped up and tackled, and he hurt his shoulder. And it's like, okay, well, welcome back here. Like he played like 8 or 9 games, and he had 10 touchdowns this year, and he was like a huge part of my offense when I had him. But so especially after trading Abdullah, and then having to deal with LeGarrette Blount, Christine Michael, and Theo Riddick, it was interesting in the run game. But I don't want to. It was just a question I was throwing out there. I don't want to get off topic.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, with Lights, again, quiet season, and he definitely made it happen. I don't think anybody really talked much about. Yeah, he was 13-3. And 2 of those losses came like within the first like 3 weeks.
Right.
So, So yeah, like he definitely is one of those users that you really can't sleep on at all because
especially in the playoffs too. Like
yeah,
we have quite a few like regular season like warriors in this league, including me. But Lights gets it done in the postseason too. So that's what's most impressive about him, in my opinion. I mean, given he lost the AFC Championship, but he got to the AFC Championship year one. So I mean, he put up a hell of a fight versus a 16-0 Jags team.
yeah, a team that's much better equipped than his. So, so yeah, I mean, that's to me that's about as much as you could really kind of like hope for early in the CFM is, getting that development for certain guys early.
Yeah, I mean, they can make your CFM if they're in your long-term plans for sure.
So yeah, but that's Lights. Does anybody else have anything to add? No.
No, I'm good.
Yeah. But what I was saying earlier was, at this point, the depth in the league, there's quite a few people. There's quite a few like trap games. You never really,
for sure.
If you look over somebody, there's a likelihood that you can be beat.
Yeah, you can't go into a game in this league and like not be like focused. Like, so you have to like, you have to play. Like, obviously there's no way to sugarcoat. I mean, there's better users than some, obviously. I mean, it's just like that anywhere you go, but. It's not like you can go into a game and just kind of like look at your phone the whole game and expect to win.
Exactly. So I mean, so yeah. On to number 4, which was a unanimous number 4. Crips.
Was the rest of the top 3 unanimous?
I think so.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought we all agreed on a lot. Well, I only see me and Corey's ranking, so I guess I can't really say.
Well, I mean, it was just me, you, and Corey that did them.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 was unanimous.
Wumbo, you just said you. Oh God. We'll have a talk later.
So yeah, we have. Crips at 4, which coming from somebody that's played him twice. Well, 1.5 times because he kind of
overrated.
Starter.
Calm overrated. Do it.
You won't.
No, I'm not because he beat me, so I can't call him really overrated.
Wow.
I can't call him overrated because he beat me.
Call him overrated.
I can't call him
overrated.
But yeah, I mean, Crips was fighting tooth and nail with Emmons through literally to week 17. So I mean, he had Emmons sweating bullets up there at number 1 till that week 17 loss, but
until I realized he was overrated.
but yeah, like he definitely has done great things with that Saints team. Of course, they're one of the more like they're not quite the Jags, but it's not many situations in the league that are better than the Saints.
Anytime you can get a cornerback with Jalen Ramsey or Marcus Lattimore to sort of a CFM, you're sitting pretty good.
Exactly, and Ken Crawley is your number 2. Like,
oh, sorry.
Yeah,
well,
they're one of those teams that's set up really well to win year 1 if you've got a good user at the helm.
Yeah, I mean
that's a good word, Corey. Look at Corey taking shots. I like.
Is that because Crips is overrated?
Yep, exactly. we got LJ on the train now.
I will go on the record for the CFM that I'm a little nervous for Crips' championship hopes if he's not making the Super Bowl in year 1 or year 2. I don't know how that offense will run. He could make a huge move for a quarterback behind Breeze, but once Breeze is gone, I'm curious how it'll go.
Yeah, that ship will run completely different because it's crazy how different his offense looked with JT running it than Drew Brees.
And going from like a quarterback that has elite accuracy,
Yeah,
like kind of paralleling my game versus the Patriots, there were some throws that Brady was making that was just like, how in the hell does that ball hit that window like that? Because I'm so used to a low 80s accuracy quarterback where it's like that would sail to the safety half the time.
yeah,
To go from that kind of accuracy quarterback down to a project could make a rough transition that sometimes teams don't recover from.
yeah, yes. It'll be interesting to see what he does. Maybe he can get a steal late. But but I mean the thing is, I mean even still that team is definitely built set up to win now and set up to win long term. You know, you got excellent piece in Marshawn Lattimore and another excellent piece in Crawley, which I'm pretty sure Cripps will probably move on from him. Got Cam Meredith at receiver. You have Michael Thomas at receiver. He traded for Keelan Cole. Like, of course, you have Kamara and you have Ingram. The offensive line needs some pieces on it, but I mean, like he has Marcus Davenport and Trey Hendrickson, so that's pass rush right there. Like it's just like he has one of those teams that's really in a really good situation. And I definitely expected him to be one of the better teams to start off the CFM. So he definitely lived up to the expectations.
Yeah, definitely.
In my opinion, especially in a really tough division, considering we had two.
Your worst team was 7-9, I think.
Yeah, our worst team was 7-9. And honestly, he dashed like 4 teams' playoff hopes, including mine, in like the last 4 weeks. So, so I mean, that division in such a tough division, to be able to pull out a 13-3 record, you know, that's great stuff right there. So on to number 5, which
Were you still playing your game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Number 5, we have Poop making his return.
Another regular season warrior just like me.
we have Mr. Regular Season himself, Poop, at number 5. So yeah, he definitely, even though he started off rough, he definitely figured it out.
He really turned it around
and went off because I think
until he ran into Wumbo.
Yeah. What? Yeah, and then he conceded. Then he conceded in the playoffs. So, which I've never.
Huh? Oh, that was really bad timing.
He conceded.
I just gave up a touchdown.
Wait, he conceded in the playoffs?
Yes.
Oh God! Was I drunk?
So Wumbo got his concede redemption back from 18, and I would say it's worse given the level or the stage.
You made Poop concede, bitches?
Hell yeah!
Nice.
In a playoff game.
Did I mention I made Poop concede?
When was this game going on? Was I drunk or something? What was happening? I don't remember this.
Poop was playing drunk. I don't know.
Are you sure about that?
But
yeah, I remember Wumbo telling me that, and I was like, "You won? That's awesome." He's like, "Yeah, I made him concede," and I was like concede? Yeah, and I was like, "Oh my."
No, what do you call it? Shank is commenting on the conceded. He said, "LOL, Poop conceded." Yeah, Poop conceded.
Shank's, that's tough. I love that.
Via my boy Wumbo. #Wumbo Squad.
in the playoffs, though, I could see if it was the regular season play.
Yeah. But like, what was the score, bitches?
30-6, I think.
36.
Yeah,
Let me kick the extra point.
Jesus. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate.
That's a white shade mention right now in the chat. He didn't let me kick the extra point.
But yeah, that is a very unfortunate circumstance. But yeah, I mean, Pook finished the season on like a 9-game.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like maybe we should
like that.
Yeah, maybe we should talk.
Talk good about Pook.
I was curious to talk about his playoff concession.
Yeah,
but
regular season wise, he started off rough and then he just like completely went on a tear. Like towards like the last half of the season.
Yeah,
it was really impressive.
Definitely, yep. And I mean, it was against some pretty tough opponents too. So I mean,
he's our MVP winner.
Yeah, and I was going to say Baker with the MVP. So that was big time. I think he had a few.
That sets him up really well for the CFM. He's like almost 90 overall now.
Yeah, and I mean, I think he's almost 90 overall on like multiple schemes now too. So that's I mean, that's big time for him. Especially seeing as how Baker is 24. It's good to get that early season development from him. That early CFM development. Yeah. So I mean, Pook
is a monster.
I was going to say DJ Moore is a monster. That guy.
PG was spinning off of the Bears like it was going tomorrow. Too bad we didn't pull off the W though.
But yeah, so that was so I mean, Pook definitely had an impressive end to his regular season. It was definitely something special to watch.
Keyword there is impressive end to his regular season. My boy Wumbo over here
is a savage. He must have got drunk before that game.
You drunk that night, Wumbo? Well, no one got suspended, so he might have just been high.
No, he was tipsy at that point. He wasn't drunk. He was tipsy.
I did not touch the devil's lettuce. What are you talking about?
He was tipsy at that point. He wasn't drunk yet.
Yeah, he was just he was just 4 or 5 shots in. He wasn't 10 deep yet.
Pre-game. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
We might want to start moving through these a little faster. I keep talking about random shit.
But number 6, we have
Roger.
No, the fellow Wumbo himself, Vicious.
Nice.
The man that made Pook concede.
Nice. I feel like he deserves top 5.
I was going to say, Vicious is loving the love right now, bro. Like,
I'm gonna put that in my name now. Just him make Pook concede.
It really just comes down to who has the most impressive season with the Bills between me and VFL and him and.
Very true. Very true. I mean, that again, Vicious started off rough with, a 0-2 start, and we see where he is now. So
my Josh
definitely
Allen was better than your Josh Allen.
Definitely
anytime you can go 11-5 with that Bills team, especially playing the schedule like he's had versus a user basis, is impressive. Especially making Pook concede.
I actually had Wumbo at number 5. I had him over Pook just because of the quality roster he was working with compared to the Browns roster.
I gave Crip shit for his conceding in a regular season game. Man. I don't know if we'll be able to let him live this down.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one guy's pretty good.
The guy who made Pook concede. Oh, Wumbo, you crack me up.
Side note, I just realized that the main actor in that Monsters and Men movie that's coming out is Ricky Jarrett from Ballers.
Ricky Jarrett, my guy. Might name a receiver after him in the draft. It's a good show.
Yeah. But yeah, Bishes with that roster has turned out a really good season, especially considering like where it looked like it was heading early.
Yeah, it didn't start good. Like, did you concede for Roger?
I wouldn't think it did. No,
Okay.
we disconnected.
Oh yeah, you disconnected. Yeah, disconnected. And then I think you played Lights Week. Yeah, you played Lights Week too. So I mean, it's not an easy start, and but pushed through and finished out going 11-3 the rest of the way. Lost a really ugly game to me. We both played horrible. We just didn't want each other to lose. That's what it was.
Yeah, I mean it's really it was good to see what he did with that team, you know.
For sure.
And of course that secondary is, you know, nasty. One of the, I mean, not many people have players of like a Trey White, Hyde, and Poyer type of secondary. So
Poyer isn't needed. Quandre Diggs is a lad.
So, like, I mean, to me, that's one of the better things.
Yeah.
One of the things
you
that
can get Micah Hyde, Poyer, and Trey White. I mean, obviously you need another corner, but I mean unless you consider Vontae Davis still there.
He's on his way out the door.
Okay.
He was on his way out the door like a couple weeks ago, to be honest.
A couple weeks ago.
Well, of course you had and I mean, you have you have Bishes at 6 and Roger at 7 with that Ravens team, which the pieces that Roger needed to develop definitely got the development that they needed. As far as like, you know, Lamar Jackson having such a great season, like he had, Humphrey, same thing. Humphrey with the season that he had, and like just, you know, figuring out ways to win games, in general. That Ravens team definitely had a really nice run. Mark Andrews too. I forgot Mark Andrews, but yeah, Mark Andrews. And then once he got Abdullah from Emmons, that pretty much set his offense for the rest of the season. So, so yeah, I mean, he definitely had a really good season until late. He kind of struggled down the stretch, but for the most part, his season was pretty good. The way most of the way through. So,
yeah, the biggest thing I'm interested to see in that division is if he can hold on to the title from Pook, or Pook will take it back from him, and then how long he keeps that core together. Just because Roger likes to change it up.
Yeah. Well, I think this cycle, I think he's probably going away from that. I don't see him making as much this cycle as he did in the previous.
You guys your game almost over?
Yeah, it's getting
there. Okay. Yeah, I don't see him making as many moves as he did before. With the CFM this time around, because I think he understands that the development and stuff is a lot different than it was. So it's not quite as easy to develop players. So he can't just move guys and then expect to replace them with guys that he plans to develop a year later. So I think that's the biggest thing that we'll probably see from him. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see whether he keeps that division from from Pooh, who definitely ran that division last year for the most part. Vicious, but
Made the Super Bowl more than him.
actually, y'all made the Super Bowl the same amount. Y'all both went twice. He went the first season and the last season.
Cook set himself up nice for the CFM off season one.
And he only made one Super Bowl after that.
Shots.
Including, and the thing, he had the game won. He literally could have won. It went out with a Super Bowl win.
Yep.
He blew it.
That was God, another conceding in the playoffs. Little interesting kickoff.
So I'm pretty sure everybody thought the same thing I did when it happened. They were like, "What?"
Sack limit in VFL.
Squib did. Squib it 150 kick power
to
those.
Okay.
Exactly. It was just like,
why are you destroying him now?
That might be.
Oh God! Please don't make me suspend you again.
we got to suspend Julio this time.
No, Matt Ryan had a god awful game, so.
Oh, just the game over?
I'm kneeling right now, so.
All right.
Okay. Well, anybody else got anything else to add to Roger?
No.
All right. So on to number 8, where we have, let's see. Number 8, we have
Shank and the Seahawks.
Shank and the Seahawks.
Good old Shank.
I think I ranked him the lowest out of everyone because I think I put him at 9.
Yeah,
just
and I actually put him at 7.
I think I had him at 8.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not really that impressed with Shank, even though he
shots.
I mean, earlier on, I think after he beat Emmons and he went on that like slide, I kind of like lost the specialness of the season. It's still good though because that Seahawks roster is a mess. So
oh shit. Wait, no, never mind.
But yeah, that Seahawks roster is a mess. So I mean, shout out to him for still coming up with that roster. But I don't know. I just felt like there were better seasons ahead of him. So
I'll be surprised with how the team shapes out in the coming seasons. I don't know. I think the really rough start that Suff started with, basically pre-Mac, helped his division race.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I actually ranked him at 7, just kind of similar to with Bish's. I give benefit of the doubt to user skill when you do that well with relatively bad teams. So I don't know that the Shaquille Griffin trade to me might come to hurt him more than help him because cornerbacks are generally really weak in drafts. Usually have to draft within the top 10 to get a really good one.
Yeah. And because there were so many bad teams and plus he has my pick and that's number 20. So
yeah, and I mean, it's not impossible to get one to fall that low, but if I remember right, this class is not very good at corner past the first 1 or 2, and those are both top 15 projections or something like that. But I don't know, I look at the teams like Cripps and Josh and Lights. I mean, those teams have elite cornerbacks 1 through 3, and to give up a 22, 23-year-old plus dev corner that's not a bad cover guy, that might be hard to replace for him. especially with Suff having made all the moves that he did.
Yeah.
But I mean, he did. You can't knock him for his season with a 72 overall team.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, the season to me is still it's definitely, it was definitely, I would say a surprise, but it wasn't necessarily too impressive to me. But it was a surprise.
Suff's GIF or Shank's GIF in chat. Oh my god!
What happened?
Oh, Shank's GIF that he posted in chat. Is you talking about him, LJ?
Oh, he's watching.
Wait. Are we saying this now?
Huh?
Corey, you trying to slide that in real
What?
smooth?
GIF, GIF, either one. I don't care.
I can't be on the podcast anymore. I'm sorry.
Back in my day, it was a GIF.
The future is now, old man.
Look what I just posted in there, Corey.
If it... Oh my god!
I can't even. Week now. It's taking forever for it to load online.
The teeth are gritting behind the mask. I'm literally crying right now. Oh, shit.
I'm glad I could make you guys chuckle.
That's funny.
Oh, damn. The time.
No, but it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting because, Russell Wilson is a big part of his offense. And, Russell Wilson also is older. And, I mean, unless he's having, elite seasons, he's probably going to start regressing at some point. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see exactly what his next plan at quarterback is, because even with the guys you draft, they're probably not going to be like Russell Wilson. So,
I have upgrade and Tre'Davious White with another skill point in the NFL.
Yeah, I don't know. That's another thing with Shank is he flipped.
I need
the throwing style of Russell, and that helped him a lot too.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna help me decide this real quick. Tre'Davious White's got 95 man, 90 zone, 91 press. Should I go zone or should I go man?
Man.
Go slot.
Go slot?
Yeah,
both.
Yeah, but if it's close, I kind of because if it's close, then
I think I'm gonna do man though, because it gives me a chance to upgrade his jump, which is pretty shit. So we're gonna go man again.
Well, I mean, if you do slot, there's a possibility that
another +1 man coverage.
If you do slot, there's a possibility he could jump up 2 in one of those categories.
97 man coverage.
My only worry is that he goes into the slot category, which is
he was really close. If I upgraded slot, he'd be a slot scheme fit. And I'm man to man. But sorry,
I think I just when Calvin Ridley sat 3 weeks, was still league exception.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's still probably gonna win Rookie of the Year. So
who? Calvin Ridley? Yeah, he's definitely
Ridley.
Yeah, Rookie of the Year.
Where were we at?
Does anybody have anything
Jake,
else?
If it means anything, I am very proud of you and what you did this season.
Oh, Emmett! After you called Crips overrated, really?
Hey,
okay, well,
Shank beat me. Okay,
spade a spade.
I beat Crips with the Colts. All right. Shank beat me. Crips didn't. So therefore, Crips overrated. Shank not.
Look at what he says. Yeah. Joe can play all shit traffic. Shit team called an absolute bumsky on podcast.
Pumpski.
Oh man. Yeah.
Stop copying me.
So yeah. On to number 9.
Can I boot stuff again for that? Meme stealing.
That's illegal in my books.
On to number 9. We have a unanimous number 9, which is we have
Did someone remove it already?
sports. So we have sports. So I mean sports definitely had a good season. Again, it wasn't as impressive as I think we all would have liked to see from that Otis Eagles team. So but you know,
the 190 plus overall team in the game.
Yeah, so I mean, it wasn't quite as impressive as we all thought that it could have been, but overall, you know, it was a nice season.
All right, boys, I'm about to play Dicey and VFL, so I'm about to hop off.
All right.
Wow.
This is for the AFC East, okay? This is a battle for the division.
Sorry.
Well, Emmons, just keep this in mind. If you lose, then the matchups go the way I want them to. So,
what?
If you lose, then the matchups in the playoffs go the way I want them to go. So,
would I even make playoffs? Will I make playoffs if I finish 12-4? Because I'll finish 12-4 worst case scenario.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, Dolphins could beat me, but I beat them 40-0 the last game. So.
Well, I mean, the next closest team outside of the playoffs is like 7-6.
You already locked the spot.
Oh, sweet. All right.
8 and 6. 8 and 6. I'm sorry.
So, what's the matchups that you like?
Because then because I'm probably not getting the 1 or 2 seed with Josh or
right
or Bobby. So I'm probably not getting that, and then so that would make me the 3 seed. But if you win and you win the division because you own the tiebreaker against me, you would be the 3 seed and I would be the 4 seed. Then I got to play the 5, which I don't want to play the 5 because then I'd rather play Splooge in the divisional round. I'd rather play the number 6 team in the. I'd rather play Isaiah in round 1 and then play. Then if I win that game, play Splooge in round 2, as opposed to So,
all right, boys. Well, I'll try to do my best for you, LJ.
Yeah.
Love you guys.
So,
see you, buddy.
Shake, I'm proud of you.
And Keith's proud of you.
Crips is overrated.
So but yeah, you know, not quite as impressive as we all would have liked to see from the Eagles. You know, they like I said, that team is like the only team that's over 90 overall. Think to be exact, they're like 91. So
I was expecting like a minimum divisional round appearance, losing a game versus like one of our perennial kind of power users, like in Austin, a Cripps, Emmons kind of type. But like almost kind of had an expectation of championship game round or Super Bowl appearance. Just knowing that he's a good user and it's a ridiculously good team.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's the same expectations everybody pretty much had as far as like figuring that part out. So, I mean,
I agree.
Huh?
I agree.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say. I agree. I've contributed so much to this podcast so far. I feel like I should probably be quiet now.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know. That's just my thing. My thought on it is that it was impressive, but not quite as impressive as we would like to see from one of the more loaded teams in the game, especially with such a good user.
Yeah. But I mean, by no means like a disappointment season from how it went. He won his division. It's just what other users had and expectations for him.
Yeah, definitely. So I think we're ready to move on to number 10, which is our NFC Super Bowl representative, the New York Football Giants, coached by Arthur.
Corey, let's start with you.
What's up?
We're talking about Arthur. I think it's just fair that we start with you. What do you got to say about him?
I mean, I think the AFC
children watching.
So I think the power rankings, how one AFC person and two NFC people ranked them, of 5 of the top 7 teams are AFC. I think it's just skewed a little bit in terms of the quality of teams plus users this season. I think that just kind of opened the door. He matched up really well against Cripps both times that they played. I don't know if Cripps just didn't game plan for him or what it was, because Arthur, he had a gameplay complaint about him earlier in the season about how he ran a lot of base packages, and then on top of that would be in like pure coverage, zone coverage looks. And that, I don't know, I think that just messes with people enough. Yeah. And it messed with the right people that he matched up against, that he's a solid enough user that he's able to beat good users or really good teams.
All I'm hearing is Cripps is overrated as fuck.
I don't know. I think it almost hurts that like Emmons has like a 78 or 79 overall team, and the Bears are really good, but still really, like, realistically probably 2 or 3 seasons away from being super dominant talent everywhere on the field. Just for some of those teams to kind of be the teams that are in the path, as opposed to having like a Jags quality team or a Chargers quality team to match against, plus the user skill. I've said it before, I'm hopeful that the Super Bowl is not a repeat of week 1, because that's kind of where my prediction is at right now. And that's not really a knock on Arthur. That's just a testament to how good the Jags team is and how well Josh uses them.
Yeah. I mean, I think with Arthur, the inconsistency is to me is the biggest thing. Where it's like, he figures out a way to win against the good teams, but against the better teams, he struggled against the like lesser ones. And it's just like that, to me, that inconsistency kind of leads me to why he's at number 10 and why his record was 10-6 as opposed to, being like a 12-4 or 13-3 type of deal.
Yeah.
Because you got to
win.
Which
I can agree with that. That's I'm trying to think of a way to kind of put it in words, because I've played Arthur a bunch of times going back to other leagues, and I think we played a couple times in here. I don't know if it's people either just naturally will match up well against him or they scout him or what it is, but like if he gets out of playing a balanced game, like if he doesn't stick to his flow, which having someone like Saquon is a really bad thing to do just because, and I'm guilty of this too with getting away from Hunt, but like it turns you into really one-dimensional style, and he's got a big tendency to look to Odell or to Ingram. Like those are his two big reads, and if a user picks up on those tendencies quick, the games spiral really, really fast, it seems.
Yeah.
And if someone's not prepared for them, those players are such good players that he can get you into a dogfight and beat you because he's decent enough to do so.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. He.
I don't have any elite breakdown. I haven't played him.
Well, the thing is, I have played him, and what Corey's saying is right. I mean, I had some really bad like missed throws in that game that just didn't exactly help my cause any. But yeah, you know, it's one of those matchup things. Because that was my first time playing Arthur, so I didn't exactly know what to expect going into that game.
Yeah, and like he's a decent user on defense.
Yeah.
He likes to air it out, but he will run it on you if he can get the power run game going. Like he's not unlike a lot of the people that we have. It's just like LJ is saying, and I kind of feel like I'm a good comparison these last cycle and this cycle is it's just kind of inconsistency. Like you might get a game where you play a Jags quality team within a field goal, and then the next week you might lose by 3 scores.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's to me that's basically what it boils down to with Arthur. So I mean, that's why part of me is saying this Super Bowl won't quite be week 1. But then like my head is like, yeah, it just because that Jags team is really like loaded. So
like the very few moves so the Jags team has drastically improved from how it was week 1, just one becoming familiar with it, but also all the progression that was made in development. And I mean, I guess we can kind of transition to our Super Bowl preview or prediction if we want, since that's our 10 spot. But
yeah,
he's become more familiar with the team, how the game plays, just kind of what routes are going to get open, all that stuff. The team has progressed in attributes. And then he's added some really big key pieces like Kerrigan as a situational pass rusher I think he had like 16 or 17 sacks this year. And then he's added Monte Nicholson, who's like a 6'2", middle 80s hit power, 90-plus speed excel safety that he likes to put in the nickel and sub linebacker spot, which I think he had 2 lurks on lights with Monte in the AFC Championship game. So it's not like a high overall addition, but it has a huge impact on that defense because he's able to take away so much of the field that the 2 linebackers he'll have out there will be Telvin and Miles Jack, who are faster than some safeties.
Yeah.
And better coverage. So they're taking away your short stuff, which makes you look to the outside. Well, have fun there. You're throwing against Jalen or Bouye. And then if you try and throw it over the top, you're likely thrown into double coverage with Gibson and Harrison, his safety, who are both decent. And it's just it's a tough matchup. And if you sit there too long, his D-line's going to crush you with Calais or Yannick or Malik or Kerrigan.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you have Mike Evans or something.
It's a tough matchup, I think, and I don't know. I don't think it'll be within 2 scores. Is kind of my prediction.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a close game. But that's just simply because Josh at this point has gotten that team to where at this point everyone's playing catch up. It's not like the only team that really has like the pieces to even like compete as far as like just pure talent goes is the Eagles. That's about it. So
Yeah.
I mean,
there's
winning this one 28-3. I think.
Did you say the?
Yeah.
You say the Giants win 28-3?
Yeah, 28-3. All right.
Gonna shock the world.
Hey,
wow.
I just saw the Bills, led by Josh fucking Allen, win in Minnesota against Captain Kirk, JFA, 27-6. Okay, anything is possible.
So my thoughts are
Bills are probably going 11-5. Like I probably just played out that season, like the season that just happened. Like we're winning the division at 11-5.
After the Raiders, whatever 11-5 or 12-4 season, whatever it was, anymore. I try not to buy into the hype of 1 year production teams.
Yeah.
I mean, people didn't buy into the hype. I'm the only one buying into the hype. Like,
no, I'm talking about like the Vikings or how the Saints were like the league worst defense, and then they turn around and they have one really good year, and then they turn around and come out and give 48 points to Ryan Fitzmagic.
Yeah, well, like, he looks like Ryan Fitztragic tonight, but
yeah,
but
and then even on top of that, then the next week they barely squeak out. Well, did they tie or did they win?
They
versus
won.
Versus the Browns.
They tied the Browns. No, they won. They won against the Browns.
Well, no, okay, so the Browns lost that game on that PAT.
Yeah.
So less than the Saints won, but more the Browns lost. But like those being the 2 weeks that you start out after having the year that you had, and just like that kind of hype stuff going into teams, I try not to buy into it too much. So I haven't drank the Kool-Aid on Minnesota and New Orleans yet this season.
See, Giants believes 28-3, baby. Let's get it. I see you.
Emmons probably would agree with us. To be honest, I'm just saying you might be the only one in that boat.
I'm all for the magic of AMLoB never having a perfect season. Like, that's super cool. That's our 72 Dolphins. But I just
whoops! I accidentally force win. Sorry.
I got my scouting in. I don't care. Let's get to the off season.
Yeah, I was going to say I'm ready for the off season at this point.
But I mean, it's.
If they're not
Josh isn't unbeatable. It's just you've got to get kind of those RNG rolls of you're going to get the catches in traffic. You're going to have to be able to shut down Fournette enough to force Josh into throws, and then Bortles is going to have to be Bortles and be wild with some of his throws, just to kind of keep it.
A Madden 18 Super Bowl perennial Super Bowl contender. Okay, he led me to 2 Super Bowls, dragging my dead carcass all the way through the playoffs.
Please, you had Farley, whatever his name was.
Nah, he was.
He didn't. Not at that point. Yeah, I was gonna say that was post Super Bowl.
That was after the second one.
Yeah, that was post Bishop Super Bowls.
Yeah, Farley didn't even know the Super Bowl. He was molded by the suck. He was like he wanted out. Honestly, but like he had.
Well, I still won't give that fully to Bortles. I'm gonna say there's a little bit of your user skill plus that crazy defense that you had.
Yeah, I was going to say you built an amazing defense though. For that first draft set you up for literally the entire CFM. Like if you played
although let's not forget that the MVP himself, Johnny Hecker, beat that Bengals team by himself.
I'm leaving. It was a great podcast point. But first he starts with GIF and then he brings up the devil. I honestly cannot be here.
Johnny Hecker. Johnny Hecker. Oh man. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Early on, thoughts from season one. I think we had a pretty good. I think it was a pretty good cycle so far as keeping it sim. We've had some issues, but I don't think it's anything too big of a deal that we can't recover from. Aside from some issue that we had like yesterday.
Yeah, and everyone got hot. Well, I mean, we're gonna adjust stuff just so that everything's on a level ground for everybody.
And I'll just say this, by the way, y'all. I apologize for getting a little heated yesterday. I mean, I think everybody's was kind of like running on 10 yesterday with that whole thing.
Yeah, everybody was.
But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for how this cycle could go. My only concern from this cycle that I hope doesn't repeat for future seasons is someone starts 0-2 or 1-3 and they just hang it up to tank for the season.
Yeah.
Because while it's cool that you have a lot of 11+ win teams, that's usually meaning you have a lot of guys that aren't trying because you have a bunch of 2 and 3 win teams. But I think like all of the middle of the pack teams, that just shows kind of the depth in the league. Kind of the prime example being Matthew and how he ruined whatever you said, like 3 or 4 teams playoff hopes.
Yeah.
Just having the 4th place finisher in a division capable of doing that to playoff bound teams.
Yeah, it's definitely like I said, I think the quality of guys we have, there's no such thing as an easy win. It's no, like if you overlook someone, there's a pretty decent likelihood that you could actually get beat.
Yeah, which I love that. Like, there was a league that I played in, I think in 16 or something, and it was one of those ones where you would roll basically everyone, and I don't know, that just gets kind of old when you don't really have competition. Like I'm sure Josh is absolutely loving it this season because it's a competitive league and he's been able to dominate. That makes it a lot more enjoyable than when it's a bunch of bums.
Yeah, definitely. I think that to me, that does mean more whenever you have, when you have more like dominant teams and like you have those dominant teams and it's a league with deeper talent. It makes it a lot more like the season's a lot more memorable, as opposed to a league where you got the same guy going 16-0 literally every year, type of deal. And to me, that's just not fun.
For sure.
Just not fun that way. But yeah, I mean, Josh is having a special season. I think overall, we've had some really good seasons here. Even though I went 9-7, I think my season wasn't anything bad or anything like that. Could have been better, but nothing that I felt like nothing. But I mean, still going 9-7 in such a competitive scene to me it's a pretty good thing to see. So.
Oh yeah, and it's I don't know. You almost like say like glutton for punishment, but it's like it's it's fun to have tight games and tight losses just because it gives you a reason to kind of redeem yourself either the next season or in the playoffs or the next division matchup, whichever way it goes.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I was saying something the other day, I think I finished 9-7, and there was a realistic possibility of finishing like 12-4 or 13-3, just based on how tight a few games were. And I mean, I'm sure it's that way for a lot of people. Just whether or not you are glass half full or glass half empty on how those roles go.
Yeah, I agree. Especially with I agree, especially with the guys that we had, come up like we did. We had some pretty decent seasons out of guys that that typically haven't done well in the league. So it was good to see. Even like our more bottom teams still found ways to win games. Some that weren't intentionally trying to lose, of course. But yeah, it's a pretty. I'm excited to see how this whole thing goes. I'm really excited to see how it goes for the rest of the league, for the rest of the CFM. But I think we have been carrying on long enough.
Yeah, so I think we've covered all that can be covered. I think the only things that weren't kind of covered was we'll take a peek at kind of season-long stats across all the teams and see if there's any slider adjustments that we need to make. I think we all enjoyed the sliders for the most part, so any changes will likely be very minor ones.
Yeah.
But those kind of things, we will, if there's any rules that we need to kind of tweak, we'll do those. And then after the off season's done, we will open up the trade committee non-commish spots to swap out Isaiah and Pook to give 2 other people a chance to rotate in, just add to the investment and involvement in how the league is shaped. And we're going to try and be better about rotating 2 new people in every season through the cycle, or at least until deep into the cycle.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's same thing we're doing with any cycle. Of course, just making sure that it's nothing that we're not, that it's nothing that we can't, that happens that we're not anticipating, and make it as fun as we can for everybody. You don't want it to be too big of a disparity, or too big of a gap simply just because of how the game works.
Yeah, for sure. Like my biggest hope is that we could try and get it to mimic real life as much as possible, where just kind of using like Josh's as an example, it likely won't happen for him just because he's got enough good young pieces and he's a good user and a good developer. But like in the instance that the Jags are dominant years 1 through 3 in the CFM, and then the window kind of closes and it opens for a team that was 7-9 or 8-8 to kind of be the next up and coming team through the back half of the cycle.
Yeah.
That way it's not just like we said earlier, one team is just crushing a conference or a division for the entire CFM, because you don't see that in real life unless you're Bill Belichick and Tom Brady.
Yeah. So I mean, that's something that I think we're doing a good job of that so far. We'll see. Obviously, we'll really be able to see 3 or 4 seasons down the road how that is. But at the moment, I think we're doing a good job. So we'll just continue to build on that. And yeah, like we said, if there's anything that we plan on changing, we'll definitely let everyone know. So, but yeah,
Reddick did good stuff. There's your praise.
Yeah, there you go. Reddick was a beast.
Reddick do good. He can sleep inside the house tonight.
Yeah, so yeah. But like I said, I think it's time to chill it out, call it.
Put on a wrap. Great season 1, guys. Thanks everyone for being active. Hopefully everyone can be just as active and then some in season 2.
Definitely. Yeah, so let's keep it going. All right.
Night, fellas.